I lost my job and my wife immediately filed for divorce, until she realized I was the sole owner of everything. Hello, Reddit I+ here. My name is Alan Rivers. I'm 39 years old, a software consultant, and until a few months ago, I thought I was living the dream. I had a solid job, a wife I adored, and a modern home just outside of Seattle. But that illusion shattered the moment I lost my job, and with it, I discovered the truth about the woman I married. Let me take you back. My wife, Melina, and I met at a tech networking event 7 years ago. She worked in interior design, charismatic and polished. She seemed genuinely interested in me, less flashy than the other guys around her. More grounded, I thought. We dated for just under a year before getting married. I was already building a small firm on the side while holding down a senior role at a growing software company. At the time, she didn't seem to care much about what I made. She loved the quiet nights, the road trips, the idea of building something together. Or so I thought. Fast forward to last winter, my company was hit hard by a massive ransomware attack. I fought like hell to save the contracts I'd built, but the board made cuts, and I was one of them. Just like that, I was out. No warning. Just a severance check and a cold goodbye from a place I'd helped grow. That night, I walked into the house, our house, and told Melina. I expected concern, maybe even some frustration, but what I got instead stopped me cold. She tilted her head and said, "So, what are we supposed to do now? You don't have a job?" "No," I said. "Not yet, but I'll figure it out." She didn't even let me finish. "Alan, I didn't marry a man just to babysit him through failure." That hurt, but it got worse. The next morning, she served me coffee, sat across from me, and with a voice that sounded rehearsed said, "I've spoken to a lawyer. I want a divorce. I need someone with direction, and clearly you've lost yours." I was stunned. Just yesterday, we were planning our vacation. Now she was ready to toss everything away like a used napkin. "I lost my job, not my worth," I said, but she didn't flinch. "Look, Alan, let's make this easy. We sell the house, split the accounts, and move on. I won't fight you if you don't fight me." That's when it all clicked. She never asked how I was. She didn't even blink when she walked out of our 7-year marriage. And that's when I remembered something crucial. I was the sole owner of everything. When we got married, I insisted on a prenup, not because I didn't love her, but because I'd already seen 2 friends lose their shirts in divorces. She hesitated at first, but eventually signed it, thinking I didn't have much to protect. What she never realized was that everything, the house, the cars, the investment properties, even the joint accounts, were under my name or in the name of the LLC I owned solely. She never bothered to ask, never paid attention to the papers she signed. She just assumed. For 2 weeks, I let her ride the wave. She started packing, even brought her sister over to help with the move. I played along, calm and measured. I told her I'd call my lawyer and make everything fair. In the meantime, I stayed in the guest room and waited. Then came the meeting. We sat in my attorney's office. Melina strolled in wearing sunglasses and heels like it was a brunch date. Her lawyer, a smug guy named Rayner, had this cocky grin like he'd already won. My attorney, Mr. Bishop, mid-60s, quiet and methodical, slid a stack of papers across the table. "This is the breakdown of assets," he said. "Please note the ownership column." Rayner barely looked before saying, "We'll be claiming half of everything." Mr. Bishop adjusted his glasses. "You can't. Everything is in my client's name, acquired through his LLC or inherited prior to the marriage, including the house your client currently resides in." Rayner blinked. "The accounts? Solely funded and maintained by Mr. Rivers. The prenup is airtight." I glanced at Melina. The smugness drained from her face like color from a photo. She flipped through the pages, eyes wide. "This isn't possible," she whispered. "Oh, it's very possible," I said calmly. "You wanted a clean split. Here it is." Her lawyer tried to push back, but it was useless. The prenup excluded all business and real estate assets and even outlined that joint accounts would revert to my name if she filed for divorce unprovoked within 5 years. We were at year 4.5. Melina looked at me, furious now. "You tricked me." "No," I said. "You tricked yourself. You married me, thinking I was your backup plan. You showed me exactly who you were the moment things got tough." Then came the final blow. Mr. Bishop slid one last envelope across the table. "This was delivered to us yesterday," he said. "You may want to read it." It was a copy of a second lease, signed a week before she served me divorce papers. Turns out, Melina had already rented a condo with a man named Carter, I'd seen the name once before, on a credit card statement. She claimed it was a design client. Now it was obvious. He was the affair. I leaned forward. "I lost my job, but you'd already moved on, hadn't you?" Her mouth opened, but no words came out. "I hope he makes more than me," I said, "because now you're walking away with nothing but the luggage you packed and a cheating heart no one wants." And I left them both sitting there. Her, in shock, and her lawyer flipping through the prenup again like he'd missed something. 2 months later, I launched my own software firm, quietly, using savings from accounts she didn't even know existed. The layoff turned out to be a blessing. I landed a contract with a major cybersecurity firm and doubled my income within 6 weeks. No more corporate shackles, no more pretending at home. And Melina? She called a month ago, left a voicemail that said, "I made a mistake, maybe we should talk." I didn't respond, I just changed my number. Because sometimes, losing everything you thought mattered is how you find out what really does. And when people show you who they are, believe them. The first time. 3 months passed. By then, my new cybersecurity firm, Stonewatch Systems, was up and running. I'd hired a few ex-colleagues and secured 2 lucrative federal contracts. Word traveled fast in our industry, and soon, recruiters were reaching out to me for consulting work. I wasn't just back on my feet. I was 10 steps ahead. And just as I was settling into this new chapter, Melina came crawling back. First, it was a text. "Hey, can we talk? Just coffee. I think we need closure." I ignored it. Then came a string of messages. "You said you loved me once. Doesn't that mean anything?" Carter turned out to be a mistake. I was confused. "You look good in that photo with the redhead. Is she the reason you don't answer?" That last part made me laugh. She was talking about Clara, my lawyer's assistant, who had helped deliver the prenup to her. We weren't dating, but the fact that Melina still thought she had some hold on me, ridiculous. But then, things took a darker turn. The sabotage begins. One Monday morning, my head of operations, Luke, walked into my office, holding a manila envelope. "You need to see this," he said. Inside were printed screenshots. Dozens of them. Anonymous social media posts, accusing me of defrauding clients, stealing code, even sexually harassing an employee. I was floored. "Where did these come from?" I asked. "They've been spreading through some industry groups," Luke said. "And get this. 3 of our clients received anonymous emails warning them about you. Fortunately, I had an airtight legal and HR history, but the damage to my reputation could have been catastrophic. So I hired a digital forensics expert. It didn't take long. The source of the IP address? Carter's apartment. The messages were sent from a burner email account registered through his Wi-Fi. But the language? The timing? It screamed Melina. She hadn't just moved on. She was trying to burn down everything I'd rebuilt, because she couldn't stand that I was thriving without her. My lawyer sent a cease and desist. Then we pressed charges for defamation and interference with business relations. But I wasn't done. Every year, the Northwest Tech Circle hosted a black tie gala. I was invited as one of their new keynote sponsors. It was a big deal. A chance to shake hands with major CEOs and government contractors. I didn't expect to see Melina there. She was standing near the bar in a champagne dress, clinging to Carter, who looked like he'd rather be anywhere else. Turns out Carter worked for one of the tech vendors in the circle, and Melina convinced him to bring her as a guest. When she saw me walk in with Clara, yes, I invited her out of spite. And yes, she looked stunning. Melina's face went pale. She marched over like she owned the place. "Alan, this is childish," she hissed. "Dragging her here just to get under my skin?" I smiled. "Melina, you tried to destroy my company. You made fake claims. What exactly do you think you're entitled to?" Conversation. "I did no such thing," she said, loud enough to draw glances. So I pulled out my phone. "Funny," I said, swiping open an app. "Because my forensic team traced this IP." I showed her the screen. "To your new boyfriend's condo. The same one where those fake client messages were sent from. The same one where you posted that selfie the same night those emails went out." People were listening now. A few had their phones out. Melina's eyes widened. "You don't have proof," I laughed. "Melina, I am the proof. You forgot I built security systems for a living." Carter looked like he wanted to sink into the floor. Then came the final blow. "I told your company's legal team about the defamation campaign," I added, turning to Carter. "They're reviewing the ethics clause in your employment contract. Might want to update your resume." Clara gently pulled me back. "Alan," she said softly, "I think they've had enough." We walked away, leaving Melina standing there frozen, her future collapsing in public view. Within a week, Carter was let go. His company couldn't take the risk. Melina tried contacting me again, this time begging. I was angry. "I made a mistake. Please, I don't have anyone else." I blocked her, permanently. The court later granted me a restraining order after we submitted the forensic reports and messages. She now has a permanent mark on her record, and any further attempts to defame or contact me would mean jail time. I've since moved to a waterfront condo overlooking Puget Sound. Peaceful. Private. Mine. Clara and I still grab coffee from time to time. Maybe something's there. Maybe not. Either way, I'm no longer looking for someone to complete my life. I've already rebuilt it. And this time, the foundation is betrayal proof.